You can look at it, you can feel it on your face, but there's just something about when you taste it in your mouth. More like Ricky the Dragon Freak Boat. Da-da-da, 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 da-da-da. Why is this now the Rocky theme? Thank God Ricky got away from Bonnie. That stupid twat almost ruined his life. Anyway, I'm John Renton with my review of AEW All Out 2023 from Chicago, Illinois, and the post-CM Punk landscape of All Elite Wrestling. Hey, at least they put on a show that exceeded my expectations. Granted, my expectations were in the goddamn foundation, and at a couple points I was worried it was going to sink into the foundation and never be unearthed. So, there were some good things on this show. There were a couple great things on this show. Then there were things I didn't like. I will say right now, I'm not saying that the whole thing with Punk, it was one side or the other. I talked about this on my Collision review. You can check that out. It was in the first 10 or so minutes. And there you are. There's blame on both sides. It is not just Punk's fault. It is not just the Elite's fault. But Tony Khan's got to be a boss. He's got to put his foot down, reel back the egos. And even then, it might be too late. So we'll see what happens. I will be going to Collision and Wrestle Dream in Seattle. Nice 1-2 punch. Haven't done 2 wrestling shows back-to-back in Seattle. Or within a day, day and the next day. Since, a couple times in 2019, and those were exhausting, so this ought to be real fun. But I'm looking forward to it. I really hope it's a good card. I really hope Danielson is on the pay-per-view card. God, I hope he is. Give me Danielson versus Ospreay or Zack Sabre Jr., and I will be happy to pay that money. Speaking of money, $50 for this goddamn thing for U.S. customers. So, according to WrestleTix, great account to follow, by the way, they were set up for about 11,300. They sold about 9,500 tickets, and they were pretty vocal. There was a very, very nice redhead in the front row that I appreciate her enthusiasm and her love and appreciation for wrestling, staying up for what she liked. So, 0 Hour, Renee and RJ City hosted. Danielson is fired up, and he is going to get revenge for Steamboat. And he says, the last strap match I had was with someone I loved. I forgot that he faced The Fiend in a strap match. And in all seriousness, great respect, even though it was quick, great respect shown by Bryan Danielson to The Fiend. He had a great match with him at the 2014 Rumble when he was Bray Wyatt. And Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda, tragically passing away at the age of 36. Let's do what we can to honor his legacy, if we can make donations or devote time to causes like the American Heart Association or such causes that do good things to make sure that they fight heart disease and heart conditions. Let's do what we can. It's still tragic, and let's help the less fortunate if possible. So, speaking of helping the less fortunate, the winning, the prize of this over-budget charity battle royal goes to charity, the Chicago Public Education Fund. There were a bunch of people in this. A bunch of people. I wrote down some names, and it didn't really matter. There were some cowboy shit chants because Hangman was in, and Hangman won. Hooray! Brian Cage is less the Road Warrior and more the Chode Warrior. I noted that it's like Double or Nothing 2019 with the Battle Royal. At least Tommy Dreamer wasn't in this one. So, it was what it was. There were people popping forward. It was first match. It makes sense. So, I did like how the redhead hit a double finger to Hangman. That was kind of funny. Because Hangman has his fans. He doesn't have his fans. I still say that his championship run didn't go all that well. And was doing large parts of the booking. But then we get to Shida, Willow, and Sky Blue against Mercedes Martinez, Diamante, and Athena with Billy Starks. They tried. They tried. I will give them that much credit. I'm glad they got on the show. I don't know what was wrong with Sky. I don't know if she was nervous. I don't know if nobody was going up for her or what, but she did a dive where she somehow managed to dive off the top rope and not leave the ground. It was very bizarre. And then she tried a code blue. It didn't fucking work. And got the victory. Willow has tons of energy. So there we are. Why are they devoting so much time in Lucha Underground, style cinematic stuff to Roosh and his goons? Not that I don't appreciate them trying to utilize talents. This was not good. Oh, they're going to be vicious killers, and they're going to do all this stuff and everything. Okay. I don't believe it, because I really don't think that, unless they recruit 6 more people and have a giant, a giant stable, I don't really see how this, this faction is going to matter. Speaking of factions that don't matter, Team TNA, they did a basketball entrance. I noticed that Sanjay was like Hans Molman. Why is Karen here? Genuine question. Caster said we're going to beat them up or we're going to beat down the 2023 oddities. That's cool. Except Luna now would be more beneficial to wrestling than Karen is now, and Luna Vachon unfortunately did pass away in 2010. The Acclaimed and Billy took on Team TNA. Rodman was in the corner of the Acclaimed and Billy, and while Aubrey was the referee and yelling at Karen and trying to get Karen out of there, because everybody should try to get Karen out of the fucking goddamn company because she's terrible and rotten, stupid twat. But Aubrey ended up being distracted. Rodman came in and hit a guitar shot on the Giant, and then a mic drop won it. And let me tell you, that Giant is terrible. Rodman was on a completely different planet, if not in a different solar system. And it was what it was. The Acclaimed and Billy won. Excalibur, Nigel, and Kevin Kelly called it, and then Taz swapped out, JR swapped out, and various other people swapped out. So, MJF and Cole against the Dark Order members Silver and Reynolds with Evil Uno, Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship match. If this had been 7 minutes, I might have been okay with it, but I don't care if the Dark Order are actually halfway decent in the ring. The whole gimmick is old. I know they've appeared on Ring of Honor television or Ring of Honor weekly programming. They had MJF do a goddamn neck injury thing where he went backstage, came out later, and then they hit a double clothesline and got the victory after Cole went 2-on-1. That's all I have to say about that because it's a dark fucking order. It's 2023, and they really need to move on from that. I'm not saying fire people. I'm not saying that. I'm not going for people, losing their jobs. Sonny Kiss apparently is a free agent. Impact. I don't know if WWE would bring him in, but you know what? Have that Impact could work. Here's an idea. Have him team with Trinity and then have him feud with Trinity. It'd be believable. It'd be fabulous. And I don't even mean that disrespectfully. Then Samoa Joe came out and he was like kind of just looking at MJF and all this stuff and everything. So MJF decides I'm going to attack Samoa Joe because I don't like how he pushed me when I was a member of security years ago on an NXT program. And give me this match. Have Joe win the tournament. And have Joe beat MJF. Well, actually, no. As much as I would like Joe to actually be a world champion, I don't think he ever will be. But Joe will likely lose to MJF, but it would at least be nice to see because it would give Joe a high-profile match. Speaking of Samoa Joe, he took on Shane Taylor. It was a hot fight. There was some good stuff. This was short. This was 6 minutes. Shane Taylor can work. He's not bad. I probably need to see a longer match with him. He had some good moves, but got choked out. Nothing wrong with it. It's a little short, but it was what it was. Luchasaurus took on Darby. Christian was in the corner of Luchasaurus. Nick Wayne was in the corner of Darby. I said, watch Nick Wayne turn on Darby. He didn't. Not yet, at least. TNT Championship match, and look, Darby bumped around to make Luchasaurus look like a beast. The problem is after seeing Luchasaurus on television for about 4 fucking years, I don't really think they can rehab Luchasaurus at this point. And there was a lot of Luchasaurus' load was a noted line from JR. Referee Rick Knox, so the rules won't be enforced. Darby took swings into the steps. He was bleeding, because why not? Everybody was there was a lot of blood on this show. Now, that being said, Darby's willing to bounce around like a ping pong ball, because not only does he not want to walk by 40, I don't think he wants to be living by 40. And it just, there was a point when Darby leapt on to Luchasaurus, who was sitting on a chair outside, and he hit more mat than anything. Christian tells Nick to throw in the towel, but he won't. Code red off the top for a very delayed 2. I think Luchasaurus fell asleep. Christian's going to hit a concerto on Nick Wayne. Darby gets distracted, gets hit with multiple tombstones, a corner bump, and a lariat from behind. 1, 2, 3. Darby's laid out. It looks like Christian's going to hit a concerto, and then others run out and stop him. I don't know. I swear I recognize a couple of those people that were there, but I don't exactly recognize who it was. Was one of them Charlie Bravo? I think? Genuinely, I don't know. Somebody if you got a better shot of it, tell me who they were. Still champion Luchasaurus. Maybe they have Nick Wayne win the TNT Championship in Seattle. Possibly. Maybe. I don't know. That being said, things pick up with Miro versus Hobbs. What a fucking match. What a fucking deal. This was a big old house fight. A lot of men slapping meat. Let me tell you right now, the crowd made this match as much as these two made the match. Slap that meat, slap that meat, slap that meat. I don't know what Sean Stasiak did to those fans. Deserve to be slapped around, but nevertheless. Meat forever chants. This was great. I love Chicago. Even though I think they might have killed Chicago as a market, they might not want to go back there till sometime next spring. And I'm serious. I really don't think they should go back to Chicago for a while. This was good. Holy meat chants. A spine buster for 2. They, Miro did a spine buster. There was a game over attempt by Hobbs. Game over. Again, Miro got the victory. Cool. It was great. I'm not doing it justice. This was great shit. This was a highlight of the goddamn show. This was fucking great. And then a handshake. Oh my god, Hobbs is turning over a new queef, and then, oh no. Suddenly Hobbs attacks him, and then suddenly music hits, and it's CJ, aka the former Lana. Okay. She gets a chair, hits Hobbs with the chair. He no-sells it. And then Miro pops back up, hits Hobbs with 2 chairs. And then Miro is upset at CJ because he's forsaken God, forsaken his hot, flexible wife. And you're not real. So now Miro is seeing things, apparently. It was a weird aftermath to a pretty damn good match. And then Statlander took on Ruby with Saraya, Defender of Abusiverse. I will stop knocking Saraya, and hoping that, the absolute worst comes her way. Just because, or once she stops defending transphobic, abusive people like her boyfriend. Otherwise, you reap what you sow, you slinky neck bitch. Anyway, TBS Championship, Statlander with the Zoolander stuff. That was kind of cool. Statlander is a beast, is what I noted. Ruby just doesn't seem like she wants to be there. She just doesn't. Remember when she was like one of the hot, new free agents they brought in 2 years ago? And that cooled off by pretty much the beginning of 2022. JR checked out. JR was like not feeling this at all. A snap slam off the top. I don't know how to feel about that. It was a 2 count. A poison Rana and a couple moves for 2. This is going a bit long. I do want to see Saraya try to take a snap Rana. God, it'd be such a shame. I don't know if this is coming across, but I don't like Saraya. And she doesn't deserve to be liked. She doesn't even deserve to have this contract because she burned her bridges a long goddamn time ago. And she's a terrible person. People will have to admit that. Because if you're going to date terrible people and defend them, then you are a terrible person. So we get more moves, a flatliner for 2. Then Tony was under the ring. Sweet Christ. And then she steals the paint, spraying the paint around. And then a tombstone, 1, 2, 3. Bit odd, but Tony distracted me from a lot of that finish. Tony and Juice Robinson, congratulations to them. In all seriousness, I mean, they've been married for a while, but just those 2 crazy kids finding love. I mean, Juice finding her finding him, proof that love conquers all and that opposites attract. So far, so good. We're picking up. Steamboat joins commentary. That was a choice. I like Steamboat, but I don't think in his condition he should have been doing commentary. Starks makes his entrance, and I guess Khan saved a lot of money by terminating CM Punk's contract because can't really do the final countdown, but big old pop for that. It was a louder reaction to it than it was in Toronto, and Toronto was a really hot crowd. Danielson versus Starks in a strap match. Another highlight of the goddamn show. This was fucking great. This was good shit. There were ebbs and flows and highs and lows. Starks being a full-on heel, attacking before the bell, kisses a woman's hand, busts in the crowd, busts open Brian, and he's just bleeding like crazy. And it made sense here. Like, they really had to hot shot this goddamn feud. And I don't think it's over. I think they're going to have a match, maybe a last man standing match or something at Dynamite Grand Slam. But Starks just, knocking him and choking him and beating him up and everything and trying to give him the David Carradine special over the ropes. Heavy slaps with the strap. My God, there were some echoing ones. And that's where Steamboat said, you can look at it, you can feel it on your face, but there's something about when you taste it in your mouth. Okay. Different kind of strap going on here. And Jesus Christ, this is the second most violent, bloody, and vicious strapping I've seen involving two people on camera. You don't want to know about the first, but I will once again say always delete your search history. And Big Bill shows up. Steamboat stops him. And bless him, but Steamboat then sat back down and sounded winded. He's 70 years old and has had brain aneurysms and stuff, so I get it. But, then we get a spear for two. It looks like, oh my God, Starks might get the victory. And then Brian turns around with some kicks, a little bell lock, and straps it up and everything. Oh my God, it's the Chris Benoit Bowflex special, and Danielson gets the victory right there. There we are. I was a bit surprised. I thought Starks might actually get the victory, but I realized that crowd probably would have shit on the rest of the goddamn show if Starks had won. All due respect to Starks, who does deserve a big old push. They'll probably get in WWE. Because I don't know if they're going to see him as a guy that's good. That's good enough to push. And that's a shame if that's the case. But nevertheless. Yeah, Hangman will donate his stuff to, the money to Chicago Public Education. Honestly, though, that strap match pretty good. And then Kingston and Hot Fresh Shibata, thank you very much, Chris. Thank you very much, Chris, for that. I will never unhear it, if you happen to be watching this. Versus Claudio and Yuta. Taz joins commentary. Claudio sucks eggs shirt. Dusty sucks eggs. Great Terry Funk tribute. There was nothing wrong with this, but I also didn't care, which is sad given the talent and also Yuta being involved. And Yuta isn't bad. He's just not interesting. I'm glad that Shibata was able to get his new brain in his skull before he did this match. That's the thing about Meltzer, is Meltzer did that kind of shit, and how can anybody take him seriously? I mean, listen to the fucking guy. Anyway, chops and a Northern Lights bomb for two, and we got some more stuff, and then suddenly, an uppercut for three. Okay. Eddie got pinned. Would have expected you to get pinned, but they swerved us, I guess. It was fine. I'm glad these guys got a pay-per-view payoff, but honestly, this could have been on TV. This really could have been. Omega versus Takeshita with Callis. Big fight feel. Omega doesn't have a lot left, but he's going to leave a lot of it out on the goddamn table. And you can tell he doesn't. He lands right on his head at one point. Soon after, does a moonsault off the guardrail to the floor on Takeshita. Big pop there. And they were cooking here. They were doing some good stuff. I don't like the fact that DDT Pro gets mentioned so goddamn much, because even though there are some good talents, it's a joke promotion. And it features joke stuff that really should not see the light of day in wrestling. It features some great goddamn talents that have come from there, like Takeshita, Ali Crow. I didn't think that it was going to work out with him, and it has. And he's proven that he can be a really good heel here. But there were chairs on the floor, and then a senton roll. Why? You don't need to do that. Because Takeshita could just beat him up with his offense, beat him up with kicks and chops and everything, but okay. Snapdragons and various things going on, and a wonderful thing about V triggers is they just keep happening. Boom, 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 boom. A bastard driver variation, 1, 2. There were a lot of kickouts. I think this needed more kickouts. There was a Terminator dive over the ropes. There were a lot of other moves, but you know what? They kept things moving. I'll give them that much credit. Super Blue Thunder Bomb, where if Takeshita had not been careful, he would have snapped his goddamn legs away he tried to do. A screwdriver was involved, but oh my God, Callis stuck it in the mat, and then he got chased away, and then Takeshita got it, and then the referee saw it when he was trying the One-Wing Angel, and then that was it. Because we suddenly got the screwdriver taken away, and that's it. Omega's going to win. No, he got hit with a couple knees. 1, 2, 3. Takeshita won. I mean, I predicted he'd win. I didn't think he would. I was honestly surprised. Maybe Omega realizes, hey, I ain't got much left. Might as well put some people over. I knock Omega and do not believe he is the world's greatest wrestler, but you know what? This is certainly one of the better Omega matches I've seen. And then Bullet Club Gold of White Juice and the Guns against FTR and the Bucks. The Bucks got booed out of the building. FTR looked lost because they looked like they'd rather be literally anywhere else. And it went long. The Bucks are not good. They are not nearly as good as they think. They were trying to troll the Chicago audience. Which, look, there are some people like, oh, the match got ruined because there were two people in the match that the fans don't like. The Bucks are not good people. And fans need to realize that. There are a lot of reasons why they're not good people. They're those fake Christian twats that deserve every bit of ridicule, and they use the word of God from a fairy tale book to justify their stupidity. They have egos despite not really being able to accomplish much of anything besides latching on to Tony Khan's checkbook. And while they marketed themselves well and have done some things and provided some matches that have actually been good, that's a ratio of bad to good. The good's like right here. Maybe. If that. Bucks just ain't as good as they think they are. And of course, one of the goddamn FTR members, Cash, got pinned. You couldn't even have one of the Bucks pinned because FTR, they're the tag team champions. Now, I'm all for, maybe a 3 out of 5 falls match, taking most of Collision between White Juice and FTR. I don't think they're going to extend it all the way to the Collision or the pay-per-view I go to. I'd like to see that. I'd love to fucking see that match. But I hope FTR is on that show. But yeah, FTR has to take the fall for no goddamn reason. That being said, the pay-per-view for the most part was fine. And then Death Jitsu. It's badass, everybody. So, Moxley versus Orange Cassidy for the International Incident Championship. This is your main event. Seriously, those who like Orange Cassidy, like him. Those who don't, like me, really were just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Cassidy bled, we got a beach break on the floor and a bunch of stuff, and another Death Rider, 1, 2, 3. And that's all I have to goddamn say. Cassidy lost the International Incident Championship. Moxley is the new champion. Watch Cassidy either enter the tournament and wrestle MJF at Dynamite Grand Slam, or he's winning at Full Gear. He is going to beat MJF for the championship. There is no way Tony Khan doesn't do this and basically pretty much make me question how he was able to ever make a profit here. Yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. Did it end great? No, but you know what? There are people that liked it. I liked quite a bit of the show. Thought the main event was just rotten because it features a guy who, regardless of his efforts, it's a rotten gimmick. Anyway, so yeah, that's all I gotta say. Agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.